Nanjing, a city with culture flowing through its veins, boasting rich cultural resources, is one of the most important cradles of Chinese civilization. From the cultural pivot of the world to the capital of literature, two cultural name cards of ancient and modern times, presenting Nanjing's cultural self-confidence and prosperity. Located in the center of Qinhuai Scenic Area, the Confucius Temple has always been an ideal resort for scholars to amuse and entertain since ancient times. Nowadays, the Confucius Temple is still bustling with tourists coming and going in an endless stream. Hidden in the crowd, the Imperial Examination Museum, converted from Jiangnan Examination Hall, has been quietly telling people about the past and present of Chinese Imperial Examination system. Standing on the Gongyuan Street, you will see the Mingyuan building and its reflection on the pond first. This silent pool-like mirror reminds posterity to learn from history. The black pool in the shape of an inkstone symbolizes a fountain of ideas for candidates taking imperial examinations. The museum is full as treasure books buried under the ground with bamboo steps covered, waiting for people to step on the 130-meter-long ramp to explore the past of the imperial examinations.
The Imperial Examination System refers to an official selecting system based on exams in ancient China. It was founded in the Sui dynasty and completed in the Tang dynasty. The Song dynasty witnessed its reform and then it fell down in the Yuan dynasty. Although peaking in the Ming dynasty, it was abolished in the Qing dynasty, lasting for about 1,300 years.
古代的君王对于人才的重视程度其实一直都很高，像《旧唐书》中有这么一句话，叫做“得其人，则有益于国家；非其才，则易患于黎庶”，就可以看出人才对于国家的发展可以说是非常非常的重要。像姜太公渭水钓鱼，然后汉光武帝刘秀访严光，刘备三顾茅庐，其实就是一个很直截了当的一个例子。科举之前有很多的选官方式，像在先秦时期主要是世卿世禄，然后接下来像在秦朝的时候它出现了有军功制、有客卿制等等，然后再往后到汉代有了察举制，然后到了魏晋南北朝之后则是改名了九品中正制。但是在九品中正制的后期出现一种情况，叫上品无寒门，下品无士族，门阀士族把持朝政，不利于皇帝的管理了，那么肯定就急需改革，所以说慢慢的就被隋代的科举制度所取代。
The establishment of the Imperial Examination System suggested that China had entered a new stage in selecting officials. Selections for officials have been no longer restricted to family origins. Scholars were free to apply to take the examination. Successful candidates were selected on the basis of their examination results and finally embarked on official career and engaged in state governance. But how easy is it to come to the fore by passing the imperial examinations?
The first hurdle for candidates participating in the imperial examination is the provincial examination, which is held every 3 years by the provincial administrative authority. The provincial examination was divided into 3 sessions: the 4 books, the 5 classics, and the discourse on politics. During the provincial examination, the candidates needed to go through the test lasting for 9 days and 6 nights in the cells of the Gongyuan Hall. A common probe, the 3 sessions of examination make a candidate out of shape, can vividly describe the endeavor of the examinee. With nearly 1 out of 2,000 chance of becoming 举人, Many candidates had no choice but to return disappointedly after the provincial examination. If one can excel in the provincial examination to become 举人, he will not only have the qualification to secure an official position, but also improve his various abilities. Therefore, the provincial examination was the most critical for those who wanted to change their fates throughout the imperial examination. After obtaining the identity of 举人, he was eligible to participate in the metropolitan examination held by the Board of Rites in the next February. The metropolitan examination got its name due to the gathering of 举人 from all provinces in the capital. Those who passed the metropolitan examination will be called 贡士, while the one who ranked first received the title 会员 or 贡员.
After the announcement of successful candidates in the metropolitan examination, the newly selected 贡士 were eligible to take part in the palace exam held by the emperor the following month. The palace examination was the highest level of the Imperial Examination system.
The final result was ranked only, but it was divided into 3 categories according to the grades. The top 3 were the so-called 状元, 榜眼, and 探花. After being admitted by palace examination, the ancient scholars' lengthy process of study and examinations came to an end. As the saying goes, once succeeding in the imperial examination, the first-ranked scholar became the elite of the general public. The palace examination introduced the discourse on politics for assessment, which required the examinee to write 2,000 words within 1 day. Since the discourse on politics was not an examination genre as standard as the 8-part essay, it is hard to evaluate the difficulty objectively. Thus, the quality of a candidate's calligraphy, which was relatively easier to judge. As you can see, this paper was written by a candidate named Zhuang Yao in the palace examination. His handwriting leaves us with a favorable impression. The standard secretarial style, without a single mistake, seems to be a time-limited work of calligraphy.
Upon finishing the palace examination, the announcement of the ranks became the most anticipated moment for the examinees. The names and the ranks of newly selected 进士 were issued on the golden billboard. It got its name due to the adoption of yellow paper from the Song dynasty. Succeeding in the imperial examination was acknowledged as one of the 4 universally recognized paths to happiness in Chinese tradition. To succeed in the imperial examination under poor conditions through decades of toil was a lifelong event that Asian scholars have always yearned for, representing a great glory of individuals and families. What's more, it marked the embodiment of a kind of social value. Till this day, names on the golden list of successful candidates is still endowed with a fine and auspicious meaning by modern people.
As saying goes, anything with a simple start will end in overwhelming complexity. The establishment of the imperial examination system provided a fairer competition environment for the common people. Scholars were free to apply for admission based on their examination results. Students of generations worked hard for decades in pursuit of succeeding in the imperial examination, which directed the only way to change most scholars' fates. The imperial examination system provided the sizzler source for talents to reinforce the imperial governance and ensure the long-lasting stability. However, as its prosperity doomed to decline, the imperial examination system had lasted for thousands of years with shortcomings gradually revealed. By the end of the Qing dynasty, the system could not adapt to the development of that time, coupled with frequent wars, domestic revolt, and foreign invasion. Finally, the imperial examination system was abolished in 1905.
科举制的废除是一个很仓促的一件事情，所以说科举制废除之后，但是在那个时候新的制度还没有完善的情况下，就出现了一个最直接的问题，导致社会动荡。科举这个制度它持续了1300年，它能够持续这么长的时间，肯定是有它的优势。第一个就是一种公平公正的考试精神，第二个就是对于考生没有太多的要求，让所有人都可以参加培训考试。但是反过来说，科举也有它的劣势。科举最大的劣势就是它的考试内容，它的考试内容主要是儒家经典、四书五经这些东西。这些东西其实到了1905年废除的时候，已经不能满足那个时代的科技的发展的一个需求了，所以说它会被废除。其实不管是民国时期的考试院、考试法，新中国成立之后的高考，包括我们现在这样一个公务员考核、领导干部选拔制度，这种制度其实它的内里最核心的就是一种公平公正的一种考试的选拔方式嘛。所以说这些东西都可以算作是科举精神的一种延续吧。
In spite of some limitations and various drawbacks, the Imperial Examination system still provided a way out for countless candidates and delivered large amounts of talent for the country under the historical conditions at that time. Not only China's neighboring countries, including Japan, South Korea, and Vietnam, have followed China's example in holding the Imperial Examination, but also European and American countries have similar civil service systems derived from China's Imperial Examination system. Although it was dismantled and thus stepped off the arena of history for more than 100 years, its spirit of fairness and merit-based admission continues to this day. As one of the most dynamic and longest-lived cultural phenomena throughout human civilization, the Imperial Examination shows its infinite glamour as a representative of Chinese culture. It is not only an important part of Chinese culture, but also a part of world civilization. Nowadays, the Mingyuan building and some of the examination cells lend the northern bank of the Qinghai River much of their charm, serenely waiting for people to explore the history of the Imperial Examination.